Hey, we've got a ton of people filing through the door, so I want to make sure we stay on time and each of our presenters gets a chance to do their thing. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining our live webcast. We're very happy to welcome our channel partner members, including those loyal members of Seagate Insider, to today's event. As always, I hope you guys find the content really valuable and that we exceed your expectations. The goal of today's session is to highlight the partnership between Seagate and QSAN to show how we join forces to incorporate IronWolf Health Management in select QSAN NAS enclosures. And to help us here today, I want to make sure we've got the slides teed up. So let me get things rolling here. Okay. I was saying, what to help us today is two guests. First up, we're going to hear from Jason Benoin, Seagate's Product Marketing Manager for the IronWolf product line. And then we'll hear from Neil Chen, the Senior Product Manager from QSAN, our special guest partner today. And thanks, Neil, for jumping aboard. After we highlight Seagate's Insider for Partners program, we'll wrap things up with a little bit of Q&A, and that's where you folks come in. So just a few reminders here. And by the way, my name is Joshua Walty. I'm Seagate's Global Partner Lead. Let me not say that here. And I'll be your host for today's session. To preserve sound quality, just a reminder, all participants are on mute today, but we do want to hear from you. So use that chat box to send us a message to me for assistance if you have any questions about WebEx, using it, sending in questions, so on and so forth. Also, we'll be answering questions throughout the presentation as well as at the end. So submit yours to the team using either the chat box or the Q&A box. And finally, all attendees of today's session will receive a follow-up communication with directions for how to access the presentation and the video recording. And as a reminder, this is a special session for us today, is we are going to be pulling the names of a couple lucky winners today. But in order to be eligible to be one of those prize winners, you've got to stick with us till the end, the very end of the presentation. So as always, you have to stay to play. So now enough from me. It's on with the show. I want to make sure that we can bring Jason onto the scene here. Jason, I'm going to go ahead and pass you the ball. And let's make sure that your audio is working and people can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Do you hear me fine?
Yep, you sound great, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and share my presentation. And hopefully everybody sees this okay.
Yep, looks good on my end, Jason.
Thank you, Josh. All right. So yes, my name is Jason Benoin, Product Marketing Manager for the IronWolf drives, specialized for NAS enclosures. So today we are focused heavily on IronWolf Health. And in part of this, we have partnered with QSAN, whom just implemented IronWolf Health into their systems. So if you're not familiar with IronWolf, IronWolf is one of the three Guardians from the Guardian series from Seagate. So there's Barracuda for desktop, and Skyhawk for surveillance applications, and of course IronWolf for NAS. We also have a gaming one too as well called the Firecuda line. So I'm going to touch lightly on the IronWolf hard drive offering here. So they are tough, ready, and scalable. So tough in which it's able to handle high workload environments for 24/7 use. Ready by being a NAS optimized drive that delivers high IOPS with TLER and RV sensors. And it's scalable for businesses and commercial NAS applications with a wide range of capacity points. In addition to being tough, we have added IronWolf Health Management, as you can see here, outlined in red. So in this presentation, we will be discussing IronWolf Health, IHM, and it makes IronWolf truly a purpose-built drive for NAS, Network Attached Storage. So how we did this is by working closely with NAS vendors, and of course we have QSAN here on board to be able to go ahead and work with us on this. So we are the first and only to implement this tool into NAS, and this is all due to key partnerships with QSAN. So IronWolf Health Management is being able to actively protect NAS. So IHM is only available on 4 terabyte to 14 terabyte, and we will soon have the 16 terabyte as well to be covered. So I know we have from from 2 to 16. We have and 1 to 16 as well for the IronWolf line, and 2 to 16 for the IronWolf Pro. And soon we'll have the 16 terabyte to cover IHM, but it's 4 to 14 terabyte for now. So IHM allows for workload-aware monitoring with active alerts to deliver peace of mind, intelligent analysis, which provides environmental and operational recommendations, and automatically detects the IronWolf drive, which is IHM compatible. So there's no additional or setup required. So IHM focuses on 3 pillars, ensuring you and your customers peace of mind with Seagate IronWolf drives. So the 3 pillars are prevention, intervention, and recovery. So prevention focuses on the user environment, providing any course of action that is needed to make sure the NAS experience is at top-level performance. Intervention of IHM looks at over 100 of parameters of the drive, and if needed, we'll recommend to back up ahead to prevent any data loss. To also add into this is to the peace of mind is our data recovery services, and which comes with IronWolf Pro for 2 years and IronWolf as an option. So I'll be going through a live demo on each stage of these in action, but first let's go further into these pillars. So looking further into prevention, IHM keeps tabs on the environment and usage conditions. So it keeps an eye on temperature, shock vibration, intermittent connections, and signal integrity. So with this, if any issues do come up, it will recommend any preventative measures. Next is intervention, which is about looking into data transfer, performance, readability, writability, and overall reliability. So IHM in this case provides a recommendation on further diagnostics and backup when necessary. So our recovery aspect is all about data loss, in which we provide extra peace of mind. So IronWolf Pro and even our new IronWolf SSD lines come by default with a 2-year data recovery. However, our IronWolf standard drives come as a choice to do so. So in order to activate the 2-year data recovery on IHM with IronWolf Pro, you will have to register your product, as you can see here. And with this, you will have access to our in-house services, which provide a secure environment since it's being done by us. So it's all in-house, and we don't go to a third party for this. And we provide shipping both ways, and the drive is either returned on a new drive or through the cloud. The best part is that we do have data recovery with a success rate of up to 90%. So I just wanted to go ahead and go through all the images there. So here's the comparison between SMART and IHM. And we do not see IHM as a replacement for SMART, but rather it complements it by giving more data or a call to action to when the time comes. So when it comes to testing drive health, we recommend actually doing both tests. But as you can see here, IHM monitors 200 drive parameters and is able to notify the user just depending on the NAS operating system. It also provides reports that may be impacting the drive, and it also helps maintain a log of any trends that may be arising in the future, or anything that may be coming that's a common occurrence. So here are some examples of messages and codes that may arise when using IronWolf Health. We won't go fully into detail, of course, but basically just want to show you what messages we have with the QSAN operating system. So we have the levels of normal, prevention, intervention, and recovery options, but you will see these messages on the QSAN operating system that will be able to give you a notification when the time does call for it. So with that, speaking about QSAN, that's it for my IronWolf Health presentation. So I want to go ahead and see if there's actually any questions that may have came up during the presentation.
Thanks, Jason. This is Joshua jumping in here. You answered one of them. We did have somebody that was kind of wondering, is IHM better than SMART? And you've kind of talked about complementary actions there. I think so. We had another question from somebody who's a little bit more well-versed with our other products, and they just generally asked, is IHM available on other drives, like desktop, Barracuda, and they probably have some of those drives, and they're just curious.
Yeah, so again, like I said earlier, this is a specialty drive. So IronWolf drives are built specifically for NAS. So Barracuda is built for desktop. So we haven't implemented that firmware where IHM has that or is on that firmware itself. So we only have we worked closely with like partners with QSAN to make sure that IronWolf has IHM built into the drive itself. So that way you get that IHM built into the operating system. So in other words, no, we don't have like Barracuda or any other generic or other drives that are available on the market. This is actually the first and only where IHM is only available on this drive.
Got it. And I think we did have a question come in that begs a little bit of clarification. Somebody wanted to know about the recovery free for 2 years at no cost. I think you just kind of might want to point out the difference between the two IronWolf drives.
Yeah, so for IronWolf Pro and IronWolf SSDs, the 110 SSDs, they come with a 2-year data recovery service plan. The IronWolf standard, just IronWolf, does not. You can purchase it. I believe it runs between $5 to $10. I'd have to double check for how much it is a year, but you can get that in addition to the IronWolf drive, and it'll be purely optional for the standard, but it does come with it for the IronWolf Pro and IronWolf 110 SSD.
Got it. Yeah, I knew it was on the SSD. I just wanted to make that clarification between the Pro and the non. Also in the chat box of this session, we put a link out to the product page for IronWolf. So certainly everybody here today after this session can head on over, and I know IronWolf Health Management is discussed in detail there and all sorts of stuff. And then a general question, Jason, came in just about older NAS enclosures. Nothing prevents someone from using these current drives for an older system like that, right?
What I recommend in that case is always check with the NAS vendor's compatibility list. There they will have all the notes that have taken place with if the drive is compatible. Typically, with older NAS boxes, they can run with an IronWolf drives and been proven to be working with it, but the other question comes to mind is IronWolf Health, is it compatible? So that all depends on the NAS vendor's operating system, if they had included the update or the patch to have IronWolf Health to be able to run on their system. So what I recommend in that case, just go to the NAS vendor site, check the compatibility, and you'll see all in the notes there if IronWolf Health is compatible and the drive as well.
Okay, great. And I did want to clarify here before we jump into the QSAN side of the house. We did have somebody wanting to know about this feature. Is it specific to QSAN? And of course, we've done sessions in the past, Jason, where we talk about the incorporation of this feature as part of other NAS enclosure manufacturers as well. But I just wanted to throw that out there and let you talk to it, because I know there's a lot of partnership that happens technologically and otherwise on the back end to make this happen in products like QSAN.
Yeah, so we worked with the top leading NAS vendors. So other guys would be like Synology and QNAP, but of course today we worked closely with QSAN to get this webinar going. So QSAN's an awesome partner of ours, and we also want to spread word that we have this IHM to also be implemented into their systems. Hopefully that answers that question. Yeah,
it's great. I know we're going to have more questions that come in. We'll have you take a look at those as we pass the ball on over to Neil. Let me get Neil teed up. And by the way, for folks on the line, just to let you know, we do have our presenters today, but also, especially on the QSAN side, we have some folks in the background who are helping field and monitor your questions. So do know that we have people taking a look at those. They will be answering them, so don't be shy. Send us your questions in throughout the presentation. Neil, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you. Let me know when you have control of the horizontal and the vertical. All right, Neil, we should be able to hear you now. Okay, can you hear us, Neil?
Yep. Do you hear me good?
Yep, you sound great. We just need to have you share your slides.
Okay.
All right. They're looking good. You are large and in charge, Neil. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar so that we have a chance to introduce QSAN to everybody, and thanks Seagate for us to have this opportunity to talk about our S-Cube NAS. So let's get in start. So basically we have some storage challenges in nowadays. So we have found several interesting points like the growth of data and the data protection in the further, and the cost of the storing data and the data transmission efficiency. So as you can see some numbers like 90% growth in 2 years. What does that mean? It means all the data growth in all around the world, the total amount of them was created, 90% of them was created in the past 2 years, which is a lot of them were created. So the data protection is going to be the major factor for all the storage device and the storage service providers. Because for the bad data cost, it costs 3.1 trillion annually in the US last year. And the cost of storing data for any single TV of the file data is $3,351 a year. And sometimes the protected data is really hard to reach. It sounds like there are many things we need to take care of. Moreover, we also need to take of cyber security, cyber threats, or we call them things in America that seeks to danger data. So data transmission, costing of storing data, which is the major challenges of nowadays NAS devices. So when we get into the SMB storage solutions, we gotta take a look of what S-Cube NAS the unique points for compares to other NAS players. First of all, we are talking about the S-Cube NAS lineups. We have 4 series for 3 different fields, like the Enterprise. The Enterprise series, we have a high performance and scale-up capacity storage, and it's a flash automated steering disaster recovery, and there's virtualization ready. And this series of storage is very good for database or surveillance storage, and we support it from 8 bay to 24 bay. For the mid-range of the NAS, the 5000 and 7000 series, it was a unified storage called it. You can use it as an IPSAN or use it just a very simple NAS storage. It's an all-in-one office and the media server, and you can easily do it, the file sharing and the server backup storage in the attic. And it's a warm NAS. So what is warm NAS? We will talk about later. And then we go through our the entry-level 3000 series is a very small group of data storage. We have supported from 2 bay to 8 bay. So we also support the PC client backup. With all our S-Cube NAS, we support the 100 license S-Replicator, which we cooperate with Acronis, and you can back up 100 PCs into your S-Cube NAS. And also we have mobile applications. We call the Access. You can download in the Apple Center and the Google Play Store, and easy to access your data anywhere once you have the cell phone or the mobile phone. So we have a Tower series and the Rack Mount series. So what's the differences compared to other players? For our Tower series, we have a 3000 series in 2 bay, and the 5000 series, 7000 series for 4 bay, and the 8 bay series. So our design for the hardware is N+1, 3.5 hardy times 2 bay or 4 or 8, and 1 additional SSD slot. This 1 additional SSD slot can help you a lot for either performance or if you want to have a native auto-tearing storage. So with the slots, we can do a lot of things with Seagate's hard drive and their SSDs. And also, it's a very unique design. It's a service store for memory upgrade. For other vendors, if you want to upgrade the memories, you have to take all the machines apart and add on your memories for upgrading your speed. But with QSAN NAS, it's just very easy. Just a pin into the door and open it. You can easily to install the SSD and the upgrading memories. And all of our Tower NAS is a screwless hard disk drive for very simple replacement on hard drives. And one thing difference compared to others is all our S-Cube NAS support Seagate SCD self-encryption drive and also IHM as well. And the Taurus NAS in the 5000 series and the 7 and 8, we support one additional PCIe slot, which can help you to gain the 10 gigabytes network, Thunderbolt 3.0, and even the SAS expansion card. So with the large form factor and the small form factor in all-in-one storage, so we use the IronWolf SSD as a you can use it as an auto turn storage or just make it as a SSD cache. SSD cache which is significant technology can help you gain the storage performance with very high review in the state. We can check it later. And for the Rackmount series, we have all of the enclosures like 1U 4 base and 2U8, 2U12, and the 3U16, 4U24s. So with a native auto-tearing hardware architecture designs, we can help you to optimize all the performance. You can either install all the SSD into the system or just use it as a traditional storage systems. So, and all of them except 3U and the 4U NAS, we can support the flexible 10 gig add-on cards and the Thunderbolt interface to have this NAS has more possible to like a media editing or general purpose or even for data basis. And for our NAS, we also embedded ZFS, the file system from Oracle, which can give us a great opportunity to scale up the capacity up to 3.5 PB, which this makes us so different compared to other NAS players because we are focusing on enterprise storage features instead of not only for the some home users or consumer users, which make our very security protection, and also we have the opportunities to integrate the IronWolf health management. We can, when some bad block or some data loss happens, when the Seagate Hardy and SS tell us, hey, there's some issues happened on the disk, we can take some action immediately with our software and the Seagate's disk. And our storage devices is a unified storage architecture design. We can support the fiber channel in the 3U, 4U systems, and for the 1U, 2U systems, the fiber channel support will be later this year. So the other things, we have an N+1 design in our Tower models, but for our Rackmount series, we have N+6. The 6 is not only 6 SATA SSD, as we put 4 SATA SSD in the rear and 2 NVMe U.2 SSD as well. For the 1U Rackmount, we only support 2 additional SATA SSD. So our 1U 4 bay, which is, we can say it is a 1U 6 base, and our 2U 12 base, we can say that it's 2U 18 base. So this is make not only the differences on capacity, but also for the native auto-tearing storage as possible when you purchase these machines. And we have some product review from our some medias. Our 3002T with SSD cache, you can see the performance is really high, and which helps us a lot for, especially for databases or for the general purpose accessing for the data. when we use the SSD cache, especially with Seagate IronWolf SSD, the performance, the IOPS is going very high compared to those models without SSD, and the other players, they don't have SSD cache supported. You can see the differences by this chart. And another one, we have some another test with our 5080. You can see that compared to other players with SSD cache, the write performance is really high. So you can check them later on these two reviews on TweetTime and the NeatTech. Okay, before we jump into the QSAN 3.1, the software we have embedded in our systems. Do you have any like questions, like why we designed the hybrid storage systems, and why QSAN bring all the series of products? We have tower models, we have rack mount models. Our product line is basically can fulfill most of the demand of storage devices. So S-Cube NAS, we come with a QSAN 3.1. The latest software is 3.1.5, and the upgrade one is going to be released in the late of this week. So it's going to be 3.1.6, which we were going to support the 16 TB in the further, and some SSD life and the SSD remaining life disk usage for better disk monitoring. So our QSAN 3.1 is a Linux-based software. We embedded the ZFS as the file system to our old systems. Compared to other players, we have only ZFS. There's only one file system in our box. Not like others, they have the ext3, ext4, or B-tree file systems. We only have ZFS, which give us great enterprise storage features, such as like a native snapshots and almost unlimited the scale-up abilities. And this is a virtualization-ready storage. Like we have passed the VMware, Ctrace, and the WeCode, all the certifications. You can find them. Excuse me. You can find them on their official websites. So when we talk about the enterprise features on our box, so basically for each models, not only the tower, but the rack mounts, we support most of the enterprise storage features. For example, like the data deduplications, the SSD cache, the SIM provision, or the fast rebuild technology. And then for the first time I mentioned for the bad data, the S-Cube NAS, we have some very good backup solutions. We have like a real-time remote replications, S-Mirror, our unique design to make your data separate to eight different locations. So once you have one NAS is stored in your one branch office or one locations, you can easily do the disaster recovery or just separate your files into different locations, which when one location has any technical issues like the power outage, the network going bad, but we always have it to back it up. So with X-Mirror, it's a file-based backup. You can support the permission backup and the version control, which is very useful tools for users or SMB to back up the data into different places. And also the ZFS embedded ZFS nature functions like the snapshot applications. You can easily send the snapshots to remote locations to all around the world. And for the storage itself, when we created storage spaces, when we create a pool, when we create the balance, we usually have some purpose. So as I mentioned, for a database, for a general purpose or media streaming, we have user-defined pools. When you when you purchase the boxes for media editing or for the media streaming, we can choose the media pool, which we make the block size larger to lower the latency and increase the IOPS or the transformation rate for the different purpose of the NAS. When you use database, you know those blocks is extremely small, and we want to have the latency lower. You want to secure your data. You want to make it every small blocks to be records when the database is when the data is right into the database. So in different application modes, we can help you fulfill all your customers' demand by using this. And all of our NAS is 10 gig networks ready storage. You can have optional 10 gig card for either RJ45 or the SFP Plus. And the last thing is Thunderbolt 3.0. For our Tower NASs, with our additional optional Thunderbolt card, each of our NAS can upgrade to a Thunderbolt ready NAS. Easily just plug in a Thunderbolt cable into your Mac or Windows, can connect to the box. It's very easy to transfer the files with 40 gigabytes per second. The bandwidth is really quick, and for the media editing, when you use Final Cut Pro or you're a photographer or you're just movie makers, Thunderbolt is really, really good technology in our box, and it's ready, and it just plug and go. Just get the card from us and install it, plug into your Mac, and easy to go. And we're talking about IronWolf. So with the IronWolf Health Management, we have some prevention, like Jason just mentioned. We can prevent that the disaster happens. When the disk tell our assistant, hey, this disk has some potential issues like the shock, the vibration, or the temperature going high. When we detect these symptoms from your disk, our system will take action immediately. When the block the LPA is going bad, we go to the scrub the pools, we go to auto rebuild, even though we use it for replace the new disk immediately when the disk is really bad. It's like when the IronWolf tell us there's a error code is 200, the disk is really, really bad. It cannot function very well. So we take actions. We not just only let you know the information about the disk. When we know the disk, there is some issues. We take actions for that. We protect your data. So prevention means knows the information ahead of the time and take action ahead of the time before everything is too late. And for the IHM, we support in our own models. So you can find it on 2-bay and you can find it on our 24-bay NAS. Every S-Cube NAS, we can support the IronWolf Health Management. And then in the further, I just mentioned for the IronWolf SSD. The further support is gonna tell you the disk usage. The disk usage is the real write into data. So you can the usage means we can have the estimate of the remaining life and how many data you have written into the disk. Because for the ZFS, we have inline compressions. For the inline compression, by using a compression, when you write a huge amount of data, we just compress it in the RAM, in the memory. So, and then we just separate to different disk. So which means when you write into 10 gigabytes files for a disk, it may not mean 10 gigabytes. After compression, probably only write into 5 gigabytes for your disk. So you can easily tell what's our S-Cube NAS can bring you the benefits. We write the data into the disk with compression. So the data right into the disk probably is gonna lower than what you expect. And this is the meaning of expanding the disk life for the further. So you can use this device longer, and you can use the disk for more capacities. And then we use the health management to tell you once the disk is going bad, you can just take action ahead of time so that your data will never go bad, so you don't have to pay for the back data rescue feed. And talking about the rescue, Seagate offers the better rescue plan. Easily you can find it on web GUI. So that just simply click and register for Seagate, then you can just take your disk to anywhere in the worldwide to rescue your files. Okay, so we have been talking about lots of features. So let's take a look of our SQBNAS successful story to see how our customers all around the world to use this box. So today I'm gonna bring you the large enterprise backup solutions. So this company is a top 3 semiconductor designer all around the world. They use us for two purposes and two different sites. Let's take a look at the topology in the beginning. So they have a cloud backup. So they purchased 3 of our 8012R and with installed the 10 gigabytes host cards. So each of the head, I mean the 8012R with 6 JBOD with them. So all installed with Seagate Enterprise ATB disk, and then they create the RAID for the RAID Z3. What's RAID Z3? We know RAID 5 is 1 parity, RAID 6 is 2 parities, RAID Z3 is 3 parities in in one group. So and for their cloud backups, they purchase three different heads in different locations, and the total capacity they would like to backup is 3.5 PB. So each of the heads provided the total capacity is 1,176 TBs for them to back up their data. So this is a layer 5 backups, the layer 5 backups. So they choose these 3, so all around the world. So with QSAN products, we also have SQSAN, which is SAN storage, and the SQDAS, and just for the in capacity expansion, the enclosures. So with our total solutions, we can provide a very huge capacity for their cloud backups. And then the other one is they are backing up their VMs by using the VMware ESX. So they have a price storage and the secondary storages in their headquarters, and in Shanghai, Nanjing, and Shenzhen in China, they have different branch office and the design teams to back up their VMs. So between these two primary and the secondary storages that communicate with 10 gigabytes Ethernet, and then go to the network into different locations by using XMirror. So they just back up the VM in the one systems, and then do the second backup in the secondary storage, and then just back up all the things back to the headquarters by using XMirrors and extra snapshot applications. So which our NAS boxes is like a specialist is very excuse me. Our boxes is for backup and for VM ready storages. So to increasing the capacity and the backup abilities, which is make us like enterprise storage providers compared to other players. So for these two topologies, the key technology that our customers are focused on is a comprehensive storage technologies, because we have some security solutions, like we support SCDs, we have warm support. Warm means write once and read many. When we embedded the warm, one can have the data cannot be rewrite or be modified by some unauthorized the people to change the data, or someone wanna steal the data. So we have security solutions. We have efficiency transfer rate for snapshot applications for 10 gigabytes or for Thunderbolt, and it's very easy to deployment. For our software rate, it's an instant rate. We just create a system in a couple minutes. When you first plug in the power and insert a disk, and with few clicks, system just go on very quick. And easy to scale up. We support up to 3.5 PB, and the ZFS file systems, we have RAID Z3, we have copy on write. Copy on write can prevent the RAID write-hole issues for other compared to other file systems. Once you have a power outage, but your file is not write into it accordingly, so this file may damage. But with copy on write, we always use new blocks to write into the modified the blocks or the new edited files. So we barely change the original blocks in our disk. We always use the new places. So which, if we have any accidents happens, the outage or the disk going bad, we will never lose the data. And also the duplications. It significantly increases the storage capacity usage efficiency. So with this key technologies, our customers, they use them for the very huge data backup solutions. Okay, so these are some introduction for the storage. So we have and the duplications for saving the spaces, SSD cache for empower the performance, and the same provision for you to easily to manage your storage capacity for iSCSI LAN and the snapshots for either file-based or block-based. And the snapshot applications, we can do the snapshot, we can do the local snapshot applications, we can do the snapshot application all around the world, so very easy and the point to time backup solutions. Okay, so in different enclosures, we support up to different capacities to. So this is for your reference with our QSAN brand, the dots and the data compressions. It's an inline compression. We don't have any performance impact then, and we also save the capacities. We also save the spaces. So all the information I just given. If you have more questions, if you have any further interest in, you can visit us in VMworld US 2019 in San Francisco during August 25 to 29. If you want to schedule meetings, please contact frankly at qsan.com. So basically, this is everything I have for everyone.
Thanks, Neil. This is Joshua jumping back in. Such great information, and I'll give Neil a chance to catch his breath. And while he does that and takes a look at some of the questions, and Neil, you can see that both there's a Q&A as well as a chat. Those boxes are fast and furiously filling up with questions, so take a look at those. Okay. I'm going to pivot to a couple more slides here for the presentation before we get into mainly a focus on Q&A. So bear with me here. What I wanted to is to jump in and make a quick plug for Seagate Insider for Partners. As a channel reseller, integrator, consultant, business owner, and I know there's a few of you on the line, you've said so, membership in the program is free, and it gives you access to the latest tools, sales aids, training, and support materials from Seagate. I could go on and on and on about the program and the portal and all the events and things like that, but we're short on time today. If you're not a member and receive today's invitation from a colleague, we encourage you to take a few moments and sign up after the webinar. Also, head on over to Seagate IronWolf.com. There's all sorts of information there on IronWolf, IronWolf Pro. As Jason said, there's a compatibility checker and all of that good stuff. So he's been hard at work behind the scenes building up that site, not just for information, but actually as a working tool to help you get the job done. Then what I wanted to do real quick, show you, by the way, how you can sign up for the partner program. I wanted to then formally pivot to the Q&A session. And I think what we'll do is we'll go in order of presentation. So, Jason, I think we've got you back on the line here again. I know there's been a lot of questions. You have answered a few, but I thought you might have a chance to review some here, and you might want to do some Q&A here at the end. See if we can hear from Jason. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, now do you hear me?
There you are. Okay. Yeah,
Great.
Jason, just thought you might have a chance to look at the Q&A.
Yeah, I believe unless if I missed it, I thought I answered all the questions in the Q&A, but I'm scrolling through right now, and I don't see any questions that were related to IronWolf Health or IronWolf.
I was going to throw one out there, Jason. We've had quite a number of sessions related to NAS, and there is this kind of emerging application. People are using both hard disk drives, the spinning media, as well as solid state, the SSD drives. And I thought you might just touch a bit on that, because I think the old world thinking was kind of one or the other in NAS enclosures, and now what we're seeing, even in this presentation today, is the application of both, and it just depends on your workflow. But I know you're much closer to that, so thought you might shed a little light on that.
So yeah, I know we're very familiar with the HDD side, and that's what Seagate's very well known for. And of course, now we're offering more of an SSD offering, and we're going fully into what we have. So we have the IronWolf SSDs, so the 110 SSDs. And as QSAN had mentioned, you can use our drives. They are compatible with their systems. You can also use a mixture between HDD and SSD. So you have the best of both worlds here if you want to do SSD caching. HDD, of course, you could have purely for capacity. So 16 terabytes is a lot. And then, of course, with the going all in with the all-flash array systems with an IronWolf 110 SSD, you're going to get that pure performance. So great thing with IronWolf Health or IronWolf SSD is that, yes, it does have that purpose-built, that specialty formula that we use, which is Agile Array, and Agile Array is more of making sure that the firmware is compatible with the QSAN box or any other NAS vendors out there, so we get the best in class performance. One question might come up later on: is IronWolf Health available for the IronWolf SSD? That is, yes, it's going to be available soon, but not yet. So we will keep you posted here on when that will be available. But of course, an HDD and SSD are going to be completely different on the parameters that will be checked, since one is solid state and the other is mechanical. You'll get something that will be different, that will be just catered to the SSDs, that will be taking a look at the health of that SSD. Hopefully that helps put everything all in a nutshell for you, Josh. Yeah,
awesome. I also wanted to give you a shout out, Jason. You're much too modest, and people may have caught this during your presentation, but IronWolf drives now do come up to 16 terabytes, and I just wanted to call that out because that's a huge thing. We've got a lot of folks on the line today who self-identified as creative pros, power users. I can imagine these folks are always in need of more closet space, digitally speaking. So I just wanted to throw that out there and let people know both IronWolf and IronWolf Pro are up to 16 terabyte, which is just huge. Congratulations.
Yeah, Josh, thanks for bringing it up. With the 16 terabyte, Creative Pros definitely need that storage, whether it's for archiving or just for raw data that they need to just store and be able to access that content and be able to edit off of it. So we do see the need for the growth of storage. So yeah, we've been leading with the capacity points here for the last 2 years, I believe. So 16 terabytes is where we're at now, and we're just only going to continue to keep moving forward with the capacity.
Great. Well, Jason, you can continue to look at those questions as they come in. I thought we'd give a little bit more time here at the back end of the presentation, talk a little bit about some of the QSAN questions that have come in. And I'm looking for Neil. Neil may have dropped off, but in the meantime, I know we've had some questions being answered in the background there. Let me just ask, and Neil, do we have you on the line or have you dropped off? I want to make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me. It sounds like we may have lost him. Let me go check. And in the meantime, Jason, any other parting thoughts in relation to NAS? We're high capacity. We're in HDD. We're in SSD. What's the future of NAS? What's your crystal ball look like?
It's an exciting time with NAS, right? As QSAN is looking more and more into enterprise products, or even more of an offering for SMBs too as well. I see NAS boxes providing these enterprise storage features at an SMB price point. So it's great to see that QSAN and Seagate are partnered, and we're more than happy to work with them to help make sure that we deliver the product that your customers need, whether it's creative pros at small, medium businesses or enterprise. So we're here to make sure that you guys do what you guys need to do in providing storage.
Okay, great. I think we have found Neil. Neil, are you back with us?
Yep.
There he is. Great. Neil, I know you've got some minions in the background. They've been feverishly answering questions. Do you see any questions there that we haven't addressed, or ones that you may want to pull out that are frequently asked?
Okay. The people want to asking us why QSAN using ZFS and our backup solutions. So why we use for ZFS, because for the enterprise file systems, we can the higher capacity always required by our customers, but sometimes they don't want too many enclosures because of limited room or limited spaces to put more units. So with Seagate 16 terabytes disk, which helps a lot to increase our maximum capacity support. In the case I mentioned, we use only 8 terabytes disk, which we can provide the 3.5 PB. So if we use 16 terabytes disk, we can provide the raw capacity up to 7 terabytes, 7 PB, I mean. So embedded with ZFS, which can increase very great possibilities to all our customers to huge backup solutions, especially for the enterprise, or maybe we can for the in China we have a customer applying with storage provider. I just forgot the name. So they use it for very huge capacity. So ZFS is somehow like our weapons to approach those enterprise customers. And thanks for the Seagate efforts, 16 TBs help us a lot.
Yeah, that's great. There's capacity on our side. I think on your side, Neil, you covered a little bit about enterprise storage features, and I thought maybe you could address that a little bit more. We had some questions about specific enterprise storage features. I know you covered SSD cache and thin provisioning, but what do you see as the most popular out there?
Okay, the most popular things is we can see certifications and inline compressions. So people are frequently asked, why you use compressions? The compression may affect the data, the correctness. Probably after compressed, the data cannot be recognized or data can no longer be used. But in some other file systems, it may happen. But in ZFS, we compress it in the block level, not the file levels. It's not like a zip file. We make it as a zip and store it in our storage spaces. We just find out the possible, the 0 and the 1. If the 0 is consistently like 7 of them, 10 of them, so we have only put 1 of the zeros and then maintain a table to say, hey, there's 7 zeros and the 11 ones over here. So compression, when we do that in the RAM, in the memory, which can save us a lot of capacities and the increase the performance at the same time. So imagine that we write into our data into different 8 disks. So, but the disk is provided like around 200 megabytes per second, and latency is around 1 millisecond to 5 milliseconds. But the memory, the throughput is around 3,500 megabytes per second in write and read sides. And the latency, we are talking about 1 nanosecond, which is 1,000 times faster than the hard drive. So we do basically everything compressed in the memory capacities and then right into the disk, which saves us a lot of times. So some people say that by using the ZFS, RAM probably the major issues when you use that. So our S-Cube NAS come with 8 gigabytes memories as a standard equipment. So each of our NASs with 8 gigabytes memory, which can make the performance and the disk life for longer. And talking about the duplications is somehow most important things we wanna find out then for the enterprise, because when we mail out files to 20 of people, 30 of people, so we make the copy of 30 of them, so which is a waste of storage spaces. But enable the duplications, we just make it much easier because you only save 1 copies instead of 30 of them. So with compression, the performance side, the capacity side, and the duplication, we don't have the waste of the storage. So these two enterprise storage technologies help us a lot to approach the enterprise customers.
Great stuff, Neil. I know that we're going to continue this dialogue. We're going to have future sessions, especially on enterprise. A lot of people, there's that kind of prosumer area where people kind of started with maybe a tabletop model and they're starting to migrate. So definitely going to be a topic for future sessions. I want to thank Neil. You guys just knocked it out of the park. Thank you and your team on the back end. Jason, thanks again, as always, for covering the drive side of the house. My name is Joshua Walty. I just want to remind everybody that after this session, we will be sending out a communication that will allow folks access to both the presentation you saw today as well as a link to the recording. And we're also going to be pulling the winners of our drawing after this session as soon as we're able to crunch down on the data. So that notification will go out in a few days. And we will be polling people who attended today to give us your ideas on future sessions. We'd love to know, what should we be pulling folks in from our ecosystem partners, from our own product marketing team. We want to make sure you're getting out of these sessions what you need. So from everybody here at Seagate, everybody at QSAN, I want to thank everybody for jumping on the line, and we'll see you during the next session. Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.